It's straight up bizarre how many NFL teams have reportedly decided not to pursue Lamar Jackson. Even the Washington Commanders aren't interested in the former MVP. Are you kidding me? We're gonna get into that and more on today's episode of IMO, your one-stop shop for the correct opinions on the biggest storylines in sports. Let's get it. Alright, so first up this week, we have the curious case of Lamar Jackson, the two-time Pro Bowl QB who was recently hit with the non-exclusive franchise tag by the Baltimore Ravens. Translation, Jackson and the Ravens couldn't come to an agreement on a long-term deal, and now, rather than lock Jackson in for 2023 via the exclusive franchise tag, the Ravens opted to let other teams negotiate with him in free agency. If Jackson signs an offer sheet with another team, the Ravens have the choice to either match that offer or let him walk and get 2 first-round picks from his new team as compensation. And if no other team agrees to a deal with Jackson, the Ravens have until July 17th to work out a new multi-year contract with their QB, or they'll pay him roughly $32.5 million for the 2023 season. In other words, the Ravens made it clear that they're prepared to potentially move on from their star quarterback. And while reasonable people can debate whether that's the right move or not, what's really strange is that a number of QB-desperate teams have already reportedly decided not to go after Jackson. The Atlanta Falcons? They're not interested. The Carolina Panthers? They're not interested either. Same goes for the Las Vegas Raiders and the aforementioned Commanders. What is going on? Look, I know that Jackson's shine has worn off a bit since his 2019 MVP season, and I appreciate that his asking price in contract negotiations is extremely high. Still, it's weird that so many teams would be so disenchanted to have already bowed out of the running for Jackson, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. JJ Watt agrees. Look, is Jackson on the level of Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen? No. And yes, it's fair to say that his run-heavy style makes him a riskier investment than other quarterbacks. After all, he has missed considerable chunks of time over the last 2 seasons, including Baltimore's wildcard round loss to the Bengals in the 2022 playoffs. But still, quarterbacks as talented as Jackson are the rarest commodities in the NFL. Jackson is struggling to generate interest in a league where Davis Mills, Zach Wilson, and Andy Dalton started the bulk of their respective teams' games last season. It's frankly suspicious that the market for his services is so non-existent. His upside is largely unrivaled, and while it will cost a lot of money, and fully guaranteed money at that, to get him to sign, that's the cost of doing business if you want a QB with franchise-altering potential. And Jackson has franchise-altering potential, even if his 2019 season was more the outlier than the baseline. For his career, Jackson is 45-16 as a starter. 45-16! Do you know how many other QBs have racked up 45 or more wins through their first 5 seasons in the NFL? 11. And let me tell you, that's a star-studded list, highlighted by the likes of Tom Brady, John Elway, Dan Marino, Mahomes, Allen, you get the picture. Even last year, which was Jackson's least efficient as a passer and his second consecutive down season, he still went 8-4 in his dozen starts. And, according to Pro Football Focus, he earned the 5th highest offensive grade of any QB. The quarterbacks ahead of him? Joe Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, and Jalen Hurts. He has his flaws, of course, and he isn't necessarily the safest investment, but Jackson ultimately has more upside and more of a track record than almost any other quarterback out there. Teams should be lining up to work out a deal with him. Next up then, we've got Justin Turner, the Boston Red Sox third baseman who needed 16 stitches after getting hit in the face by a Matt Manning fastball during a recent spring training game. If you're squeamish, look away.
2-1. Oh my God. Hits Turner, look out. Oh no. Oh no.
I don't know about you, but it's baffling to me that Major League Baseball hasn't mandated the use of C-flaps, the currently optional addition to batting helmets that protects players' faces from errant pitches. Now, C-flap helmets have become increasingly common in recent years, largely because of guys like Jason Hayward and Giancarlo Stanton, players who were badly injured by pitches to the face and then decided, I'm not doing that again. I don't care how goofy the C-flap looks. Eventually, many other players followed suit, from Bryce Harper to Mike Trout. But it's wild that in this era of unprecedented velocity, that MLB hasn't stepped in to champion player safety and make C-flaps mandatory. Because you know what else has increased practically in tandem with baseball's perpetually increasing pitch velocity? Hit by pitches. In fact, the last 5 seasons have produced the 5 highest hit-by-pitch rates since the turn of the 20th century. Ultimately, pitches to the face aren't that uncommon. Hell, on opening day just last year, New York Mets slugger Pete Alonso took 95 miles an hour to the face area. You know how many games he missed because of that? 0, because his helmet had a C-flap on it. It's such an obvious solution, mandating this additional level of protection that's already been widely embraced at the game's highest level, and yet here we are, watching another player go down in terrifying fashion for no good reason, and only narrowly escaping a potentially life-changing injury to his eyes or mouth. Clearly, as evidenced by the wealth of new rules baseball is set to unveil this year, the league and its players aren't averse to change, and mandating C-flaps for all batters is one as seamless and as necessary as it is overdue. Alright, that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you have takes about our takes, let us know in the comments, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button. As always, we appreciate you. We'll see you next time.